What changes will Clemson make? We've talked about the Syracuse game. We've talked about the 1-3 start. We've talked about how bad this football team has been through 4 games of the season, with the only win coming against a non-Power 5, Power 4, opponent. But Jordan, we have to be realistic at this point this season. We have to start adjusting expectations. We have to start having realistic conversations about what changes not only will Clemson and Dabo Swinney make during this bye week, but what changes will actually even make sense. What changes can be made during this bye week that will have any, if at all, an effect on this current season as it stands. Jordan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I'm looking at is, I mean, you have a bye week. This might be as good an opportunity as any. I don't think you're going to fire any coaches. That's just so when we say changes, I'm not even talking about coaching staff changes. I don't think that's realistic at this point in the season. But I could see some demotions. I could see some restructuring of responsibilities. I could see things like that. I think you have to. Play calling, you got to try something different, man. I'm not saying that Garrett Riley shouldn't be involved at all in play calling or anything like that. I don't know if it's going to be a team type of effort. I remember a few years ago when South Carolina had what's his name? Not Scott Satterfield, but the other Satterfield, the one they hated. I can't remember his first name.
I don't know.
Marcus Satterfield. Thank you. I said thank you, but nobody said it. I thanked myself. Yeah, Marcus Satterfield. I remember when things weren't going well for them offensively, and they made some changes in that. Like, I don't know if it was during the bye week, but right before that infamous Tennessee game where Spencer Rattler had a career game and all of that. They did some restructuring of the play calling duties, and it was more of a team type of effort in terms of guys calling plays. I could see Clemson doing something like that. I don't know, and the way things have sounded, that's probably something that they're looking at, and I definitely feel like they're looking at restructuring some play calling responsibilities. I don't know what it's going to look like. So I think that's something you have to do at this point in the season. Yeah, the guy you have doing it right now, it's just not cutting it, and it's not all his fault.
Yeah,
not all his fault, but a lot of it is a situation where you need something different, and I think that's one thing that Clemson really needs to consider doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, some changes that Clemson can make and will make this bye week. I agree that there could be some restructuring. I think there could be a mix-up in some of the rotations that we have, specifically at defensive line, specifically at maybe the receiver position, maybe at offensive line. Just to name a couple different position groups that I think could be shaken up during this bye week as far as how the substitutions happen, when they happen, how often they happen, things like that. And if you listen to Dabo Swinney's kind of media call with the media this past Monday, it usually happens on Sunday, but it happened this past Monday. And I credit the Clemson media for asking him some tough questions during that media call. They asked him directly about Garrett Riley and, whether he was going to be the guy going forward, basically, whether he still trusted him. And I encourage you guys to go listen to it, because if you listen to Dabo's answer, he kind of skirted the question. He did not answer it directly, which, if you've been around Clemson for long enough and Dabo Swinney interviews, that should tell you everything you need to know. Garrett Riley is probably under immense pressure right now. Not only because of all the noise outside, but from the noise inside, talking about one Dabo Swinney. He is not happy. He is not happy with the play calling. He is not happy with how the offense is operated to this point. He was also asked directly about Cade Klubnik. He was asked whether they considered putting in Chris Vezina at any point in time in the Syracuse game. He said no. He said that Cade Klubnik is the quarterback going forward. But if you also read his comments or listen to his comments, he didn't completely shut the door. He left it open. So I think that's a possibility going forward. If Cade continues to struggle in the way that he is, and specifically talking about this UNC game coming up, let's say the first 2, 3, 4 drives, Cade's just looking much like he has in the first 4 games. I think there's a world in which you could see Chris Vezina run out there and get a series and see if he can make a spark to this team. I truly believe that. And I know Dabo's loyal to a fault, and Cade Klubnik is making probably upwards of $3 million this year or whatever ridiculous amount he's making. But I'm at a point, and as a Clemson fan and as a YouTube commentator, I don't care how much you're paying these guys in NIL money. I don't care how much Cade's making. I don't care how much Peter Woods is making. I don't care how much TJ Parker's making. I don't care how much Blake Miller's making. I don't care how much Tristan Smith is making, or not Tristan Smith, Tristan Lay is making. I don't care how much any of these dudes are making. If you don't see the effort on tape and they look like they couldn't be bothered by playing with as much effort as they can possibly muster each and every play, then put the next guy in. I don't care if he's less talented. That's where I'm at with this team. Going into this bye week, that's what I want to see. I want to see effort guys played over talent guys. If those guys with all the talent can't show the effort, guess what? Put in the guy that is showing the effort, even if he's less talented. I'm okay with that. I'll lose with those guys. I'd rather lose with those guys than lose with people who are out there looking like maybe they don't care, that maybe they read their press clippings a little too much coming into the season, that maybe they're thinking a little bit too much about the NFL right now and not enough about whether we're going to win games for Clemson football right now. And I know that sounds harsh, and I know some people may disagree with me, but that's just where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's the changes I want to see. Now, Dabo's not going to fire any coaches. He was asked about that. He's not going to make any staff changes during the season. I do believe Dabo Swinney will be making staff changes at the end of the season. He's not going to fire people midseason. It's just not how he operates. I know there's a lot of people that disagree with it. I know that some people think that he should move on from a couple people just right now, but he's not going to. But I do think this staff will look differently come the end of the season, and I do think people will be held accountable. I'm not on the fire Dabo train. I know there's a large portion, or maybe a small portion, whatever it is. There's a loud portion, at least, of Clemson fans that are on that train right now. I'm not quite there yet. Not that I could never get there, but I'm not quite there yet. And I think part of the emotion that you're seeing from Dabo, both on the field singing the alma mater, both in the post-game interview, is him realizing the tough decisions that are ahead of him and the tough conversations that are ahead of him. That's part of it. Part of it's losing, because nobody likes to lose. And I do think he's an ultimate competitor and he doesn't want to lose. But, I think part of it is that he knows he needs to move on from some people, and it's going to be hard to do. But he's done it before.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. As far as the team goes and as far as this season goes, I want to see effort guys play. That's where I'm at. I don't care how talented somebody is. If they're not showing effort on the field, again, go watch it from the sideline and watch these guys that are going to play with more heart and more effort, just like Tristan Smith on that catch on the sideline. That's what I want to see. Guys fighting for that tiger paw on the side of their helmet, right? Guys like Will Helt out there just giving it all they got every single play, no matter what. That's what I want to see. And that's not what you're seeing nearly enough from some of your biggest names and some of your most talented players. And that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, your best player has been a transfer on defense. I mean, it's ironic. There's a lot of jokes that can be made, but I mean, that's really been the reality. I mean, really the only star for you that's really showed up in any capacity has been Will Helt, and Avion Terrell to a degree, and Sammy Brown continues to. I mean, he continues to flash, but like 3 players don't make a defense. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? And those 3 players are great individually, but they can't do it by themselves.
Right.
They just can't. They can't. And frankly, that defensive line, they need to look themselves in the mirror and figure out who they want to be. Because they got piss poor effort, man. I mean, you can't tell me that Georgia Tech's offensive line is that much better than you. You can't tell me that Syracuse line offensive line is that much better than you. Like, are you serious right now? How many first-round draft picks you got on that defensive line?
Maybe one.
Coming into the season, it was supposed to be at least 2.
Yeah.
It don't look like you got any. I'm just being honest. And I love the guys. I mean, I think they're immensely talented, but they're not playing like it this season.
No.
And I think that's got to be called out, and you got to be held accountable. And guess what? It's a new age of college football. Back before, we didn't really call out players in the fashion that we do now. But the difference is you're getting paid a whole lot of money to play for Clemson. You're not just getting your scholarship funded, your education funded. You're getting paid a whole lot of money. And that comes with a whole different set of criticism. That's just the fact of the matter. Like it or hate it, it's the truth.
That's the reality. And I don't. It's so tough because I mean, you always have to wonder. I mean, like these are the guys that you expected to be your leaders. I mean, you don't. I mean, what example does this type of season set for the guys that you brought in? The freshman class, the younger guys that you're going to be relying on next year. I mean, one of the things that made Clemson so great, and in the playoff years, was because you had so much leadership and so many guys that set the example. In those early, the 2011, the 2012, the 2013, the 2014 teams, like those were full of dudes. Those were full of guys that cared and set the standard. And set the example for the immensely talented guys underneath them to build on, and they went and did it, and 2 national championships came from it. So, but what does this team? What does this team's younger group of players have to look at? Disappointment. Lack
of effort. And poor play on the field. Poor play. And I know there's been a couple former players that have come out and made statements and things, and I think a lot of them are valid in some of the stuff that they're saying. Where's the dogs at on this team? Now, we can name a few. But some of your biggest, most talented, most hyped players coming into the season, they don't look like dogs, man.
No.
They look disinterested. They look like they're giving half effort. They look like they're going through the motions. I don't understand it. That's on them as players. And you could say coaches need to motivate them, and coaches need to do this, and coaches need to do that. And I agree with that to some point. But at the same time, like, where's your personal pride as a player? Where's your why, right? Like, why do you do this? Where's your why? Because clearly you don't have one. Or if you do, you haven't figured it out yet. I don't know, man. I don't know. They got a lot of work to do. I don't know. I think this team's issues run deep to the point where it cannot be fixed this season. I truly believe that. I don't think this team has the ability to fix itself this season, just being honest. But you got to start working towards the future. If you're this coaching staff, if you're Dabo Sweeney, if you're some of the players that are going to be here next year, you got to start working towards the future. This season's gone, but that doesn't mean you roll over and die and you quit, right? Have some personal pride, have some effort, have some give a damn, and go out there and fight and win some football games. Or don't.
But at least look like you care. I mean, that at this point, that's.
I mean, at least show effort.
Serving the result, yeah.
Show effort. Look like you want to win. Because I heard from people that were at the game on Saturday, and they said pregame, it looked like one team wanted to win and one team couldn't care less. I think you can figure out which team was which. I can't speak to that because I wasn't there. But I'm just telling you, people that I've talked to that were at the game. That's what they said. This team doesn't play with any sort of swagger. They don't play with any sort of confidence or effort. For the most part, they look like they're going through the motions. And it's never all or every. So I'm not dunking on all the players or every single player on Clemson's roster. But there's a couple that I'm talking about. I think everybody can figure it out. I don't know, man. We'll see.
Yeah. This is going to be unfair of me to point out, but it was something that I saw that, I just looking back on it, obviously in hindsight, it looks even worse. But, after Clemson's game, miracle comeback against Troy, they were shown obviously the we win, we dance celebration, and they always should release the video of the team dancing in the locker room.
Yeah.
You know what Fran Brown and Syracuse did after their miracle overtime win against UConn?
They ran sprints on the field in front of everybody.
If that doesn't tell you the difference in attitude, I mean, listen. It's again, and the reason why it's probably unfair is because this is something they've always done. So even when they were good, they did it. But I think it's just a stark reminder of kind of the difference in attitude that both teams have gone about this season, and the teams you've played have gone about their seasons. Like there is a purpose. It's a very purpose-driven type of thing with Syracuse, with Georgia Tech and Brent Key.
Yeah,
I mean, they knew they didn't play well. I mean, Syracuse knew they played absolutely terrible, and Fran Brown did something to you can call it performative or whatever, but it shows you the mindset of that team. It's like they're striving for perfection. Because that's really, I mean, it's not attainable, but that's how you stay on top in this sport. And this team doesn't have that mindset instilled in them, and that's the biggest thing. It's not even just like it's not even just the fact that they dance after wins. That's not a problem. You should enjoy winning. But this team doesn't have the mindset. They don't strive for perfection. I don't see that when I watch this team play. They don't want to be perfect. And That's a problem, because that's, like I said, you can't be perfect, but that's what you have to work towards.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see this team. I don't see that mindset instilled in them. They're not detail oriented. They don't play with the level of intensity that we thought we were going to get from this group.
Well, I think Eric McLean said it best. It might have been on him and I forget what podcast it was that he was on. I think him and Murray maybe. But he was like, these dudes apparently woke up at 4:00 in the morning all summer to work out early. He's like, you could have slept in and done this.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you wake up early?
Yeah.
What'd you get up early for? It don't look like you want it at this point. Everything we heard in the offseason has done nothing but not translate on the field this season. Oh, we woke up, we had a workout at 5. We were there at 4. Okay. That sounds good, right? That sounds like a team that wants to win. That sounds like a team that's going in there with something to prove. Have you watched this team through 4 games? Something don't. What do they say, Jordan? The math ain't mathing?
Yeah.
The math ain't mathing, brother.
The math ain't mathing.
2 + 2 is 4. It always has. It always will be. But whatever they got going on ain't working. I don't know if they got up at 4. Maybe that was just pod. Maybe they were just making it up. I don't know. I'm not saying they were. It don't make sense. It does not make sense. Everything we heard about this team in the offseason, everything we heard from the coaching staff, it don't match. And the thing about it, the games don't lie.
No.
If you line up against competition, you will be exposed if you're not ready. And this team has been nothing but exposed through 4 games. Even the game they won against Troy, they got exposed. You didn't look good. You won that game because they're just that much less talented than you. That's the only reason you won that game. Not because you were better coached, not because you were better prepared, not because you wanted it more, not because any of those things. It was just that big of a talent gap. That's why you won that game. Truth sucks sometimes, man. But here we are.